everyone! This is the dress we're going to be making today. It's a very simple dress. It can be adapted for many different sizes. It has a simple round collar and a picot edging, a little three-tiered flower, and little triangle shaped shells at the bottom. You'll need about 18 ounces of medium weight yarn. This is my favorite brand, Caron Simply Soft. This is the hook that we use for the majority of the dress. It is a size G, and for the neck edging I switch hooks to a size E or 3.5 millimeter. So it's about 2 sizes smaller than whatever your main hook is that you're using. And I also had the little beads for the middle of the flower, and you'll need a needle to hide your ends in the side of the dress. And then you'll need just whatever colors of yarn for your flower that you choose, or you can even do it out of the same color as your dress. So come along with me and I'll show you how to make this cute little dress. Okay, so your first step is you're going to chain 52, and then you're going to take a half double crochet in your second chain from your hook and do 1 half double crochet all the way across so that you have 51 half double crochets. And when you get to the end, chain 1, and in this very first stitch you're going to take a half double crochet and 2 half double crochets, and this is where you will start taking the increases. So in the third stitch you will take 2 half double crochets, and then as you go on to the end you will take 4 half double crochets, then 2 into the next stitch, and then 4, and then 2 all the way across. And to save a little bit of time, I did that second row, and you will chain 1, and you're going to take 4 half double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to take our increases on this next row in between where we took our increases on the first row. So you'll do 4, and then you'll take your increase, which means 2 half double crochets into 1 stitch, okay, so I took my increase there, and then from now on, after those first 4, you will do 5 half double crochets, and then you'll do your increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's where you will take 2 half double crochets into 1. And as you can see, it's making your yoke curl up very nicely. So you did 4, an increase, 5, an increase, and then you will do that into the end. 5 singles, an increase, and 5 singles, all the way to the end. Alright, you ended that last row 3 with 2 half double crochets, so then you're going to chain 1, and you turn your work. And from here on out, this row that I'm showing you here, you're going to repeat until you have a total of 17 rows. And rather than tell you how many stitches to do on each row, you're going to look at where you took your increases, and you're going to take your increase in the middle of every one. So you would take your first increase there, and you can see your increases are right here where my fingers are, so you would take your increase on this row right here in the middle. It doesn't matter if it's this stitch or this stitch. And then you'll look ahead and you'll take it right here either in this one or this one. And so you'll just keep looking to put your increases in the middle of the previous row's increases. And you will do that until you have a total of 17 rows. Alright, so this is what it should look like. It should lay pretty flat, and it doesn't have to be an exact science of where you take your increases, just as long as you have a piece that looks right about this. So don't stress too much about how many increases you have or how many stitches you have. In fact, I ended up making 14 rows instead of 17. And so depending on what size you want to make it, you can make this front yoke however big or long you think it needs to be. And so after you have finished your last row, you will come to this point and you'll join this part right here with a slip stitch into the very first chain that you did. And then just go ahead and take a single crochet right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start in with about 22 single crochets. And so after you've taken 22 single crochets, we'll come back. Alright, so after you've taken your 22 single crochets, you're going to chain 8. And then you're going to count skipping. Let's see, I skipped 36 stitches for the sleeve, and then you join your chain 8 after the 36th skip. And I put a pin there so that I could just easily, so I wouldn't have to count it again. And because everybody's stitches are going to be different right here depending on how many rounds you do, I like to exactly fold it in half like this, and then put 2 more pins on this side. And again, like I say, it doesn't have to be an exact science because nobody's going to count the rows on your dress. As long as it looks even, just put 2 more pins in on the front and the bottom, and then you've got it over here to do the same thing that you did on this side. So after you've done your chain 8 and you've joined it right here, continue on the bottom yoke until you come to the mark of the pin that you made, and then you're going to skip 36 again, and the pin should be roughly right around 36, and then you join your chain 8 right there, and then single crochet all the way back to the beginning, and then that's where we will come to. Alright, so after I did that first row around, I took 2 single crochets into every stitch all the way around, and this will make a nice soft gather. If you would rather have it be more gathered, then you would take 3 single crochets into every stitch, but as it is, I took 2. I took 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around, and the stitch on the skirt is going to be worked in rounds the same all the way around. It's a very easy stitch. I'll show you how that's done. So you start by taking a double crochet, and then you take a single crochet into the same stitch, and then you skip a stitch, and you do the same thing again. Double crochet, single crochet into the same stitch, and then skip a stitch. Double crochet, single crochet into the same stitch, and then skip a stitch. And you will just keep doing that round after round for as long as you would like to make the dress. Alright, so I finished 40 rows around the bottom of my skirt of that stitch that I just showed you. You can make your dress however long you need to for your child, but this one I made about 40 rows long. And I'm going to show you how I chose to do the edging. And you can do any edging you want, but I really like this little triangle shell stitch. So what you'll do to end the rows of your dress and start the edging is you will end the last row of your dress with a slip stitch. Then you will chain 1, and then I will show you how to do this edging after you chain one. Okay, so skip your first 2 stitches after your chain one. And this first one right here is different. You're only skipping that 1 stitch on your first one. Every other one you will be skipping 3 stitches like this, and I'll show you that too. Okay, so after you've skipped the 1 stitch, yarn over and make a double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet, and this is where you will make the little picot stitch on the end. You will chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you will take a single crochet into the 3rd chain from your hook, and it makes a little picot like that. Yarn over, take a double crochet, and all these stitches I'm showing you are into the same stitch on the bottom. Chain 1 and double crochet. And then that's how your first shell is made. And then from here on out, your shells will be different, and you will, depending on the look that you like for your shell, you can either skip 2 and then your shells are closer like that. See, it took me a couple shells to decide that rather than unpicking it, I just did, I skipped 3 here, and I liked the look of the skipping 3. And so that's what I did around the bottom of my dress. But you can either skip 2 or 3 depending on how you like your shells spaced out. If you skip 3, it'll show more of a hole right here for a more lacy look. And in order to fit your shells around the bottom, you can skip 2 or 3 to make them end up the right count. So right here, in order to end my shells with the right count, I have to skip 2. So I hope that's not confusing to you. But it's not an exact science. You can skip 2 or 3 depending on the look or depending on how you like it to fit. So let's do another shell. So you've double crocheted, chain 1, double crochet, do your picot stitch, chain 3, take a single crochet in your 3rd chain from the hook, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, and then that ends your shell. And then in order to end this row, you will then take a slip stitch back into that first slip stitch that you ended your rows of your dress in, and you take a slip stitch, and then you can just cut that and pull it through. And then you have that pretty little edging on the bottom. So when we come back, I'll show you how to finish the neckline. Alright, so this point in the video, to do the edging on the neckline, you're going to switch from your G hook to a size E or 3.5 millimeter. And that'll just make the edging a little bit more dainty. And you can see that I've chosen to do the picot edging the same as we've done on the bottom. Just little picots, and I'll show you how you do that. You attach your yarn right up here to the right hand corner, and you'll start right there. And I'll show you how to do this stitch. Okay, so you'll start with a single crochet right where you've attached your yarn, and then you will chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, take a single crochet on your neckline. Sorry, I keep getting my hands out of the frame. And then take another single crochet. And then this is where you will do your second picot stitch. 1, 2, 3, single crochet in the third chain from the hook. Sorry, sometimes I get my chains too tight and I have to hand pull them through. Okay, and then this is at the corner. So take your single crochet right there, and then this is how you will turn the corner down to do your buttonholes. Take one more single crochet right in the corner so that it turns the corner nicely. So you'll take 2 single crochets right in your corner stitch, and then right here you're going to mark where you want your buttonholes. Mark them evenly apart and make sure you leave probably about 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch at the bottom at least, and then evenly space them from there. And so this is how you'll make your buttonhole. Just chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip at least 1 or 2 stitches depending on the size of button you want to use. Then come back in there and take a single crochet, just like that, so that you can see you have a little hole right there. You can take out that pin and take single crochets until you get down to your next, where you've marked to have your next button. Sorry, I apologize, my hand keeps leaving the frame. Okay. So that's 4, 5, and remember, don't take your stitches only in the very top chain like that. I don't know if you can see that, because then when you put your buttons in, it will stretch out that yarn and it'll look almost like a buttonhole. So make sure you go through at least 2 or 3 lengths of yarn when you're taking your single crochets. So this is where I'm going to start making my next buttonhole. So take a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can take that pin out now. Skip 1 or 2 stitches, go through 2 or 3 lengths of yarn, and take a single crochet. And then there's your second buttonhole. And then continue on to make your third buttonhole, and then single crochet right down to where this meets, and then we'll come back. Alright, so after you've made your third buttonhole and you've come right down here to the bottom, don't take a single crochet down in the bottom, because you'll just make this joining kind of chunky and it won't lay flat. So take your next single crochet on this side of the opening, and that will kind of join those better and help it to lay flat. So what you're going to do is just take single crochet all the way up this side, and when you come back up to here where you started your picot, just cut it and pull it through, and you can even tie a square knot onto your ends that you already have there. Alright, so these are the buttons I chose to sew on, and because I chose such big buttons, I only put 2 on, but I do still have the third hole there in case you wanted to do a third button. And the buttonholes I did stretch, and so they fit a pretty good size button. And here's the dress that we made, and I would say this is probably about a size 18 months, like a year. It would probably even fit up to a 2-year-old. But I chose to sew on the flower with just a little bead. And this flower you can find on my YouTube channel under How to Crochet a 3-Tiered Flower. And I hope you enjoyed making this dress with me. If you want other patterns and ideas, you can check out my YouTube channel or my blog at annascrochet.blogspot.com. Thanks for coming along and making this. Bye-bye.